As President-elect Donald Trump prepares for his inauguration, a complex and pressing issue concerning the future of the popular video-sharing app TikTok in the United States continues to evolve. Over the weekend, Trump suggested in a public statement that he is likely to grant TikTok a 90-day extension to resolve the looming deadline set by Congress, which could lead to a ban on the platform in the U.S. under specific conditions. The app, owned by the China-based company ByteDance, has faced mounting scrutiny from the U.S. government over concerns that its operations may pose national security risks, particularly in terms of data privacy and potential Chinese government access to American user data. However, Trump's recent remarks suggest that his administration may not be eager to enact a total ban immediately, instead considering granting a reprieve for TikTok to work out a deal that would allow it to avoid such a drastic measure. The context surrounding TikTok's potential ban traces back to the law signed by President Joe Biden last year, which mandates that ByteDance sell off TikTok's U.S. operations to an approved buyer. This sale was to be completed within a strict 9-month window, which is now coming to a close. The law specifically targets apps from foreign companies with concerns over their ties to governments deemed a security risk, including China. As such, the law has sparked a heated debate about the balance between ensuring the privacy and security of U.S. citizens and maintaining open access to global digital platforms. With just one day left until the law is set to take effect on Sunday, TikTok is now caught in the crosshairs of this regulatory environment, forced to scramble for a solution. Trump's recent comments indicate that he may choose to give the company more time before the law takes effect. Speaking to NBC News in an exclusive interview, Trump explained that while he had not yet made a final decision, he was seriously considering granting TikTok a 90-day extension, which would give the company more time to negotiate a potential sale or come to an agreement that would allow it to continue operating in the U.S. The idea behind this extension, according to Trump, is to ensure that the situation is handled with the appropriate care and consideration. Trump suggested that granting this extension would be a reasonable course of action given the magnitude of the issue at hand, signaling that he was inclined to allow TikTok additional time to address concerns. While TikTok has not officially received such an extension yet, Trump's remarks indicate that it could be a likely outcome. The platform, which boasts millions of active users in the U.S. alone, has become one of the most widely used social media platforms, particularly among younger audiences. The law in question was passed as part of a broader strategy to address national security risks posed by foreign-owned apps, which lawmakers argue could potentially jeopardize the privacy and safety of U.S. citizens. As a response to these concerns, TikTok has repeatedly stated that it has no ties to the Chinese government and that user data is protected by stringent safeguards. Nevertheless, U.S. officials have remained unconvinced, urging the company to take further steps to alleviate these fears. The law's passage, along with Trump's potential 90-day extension, comes after months of contentious back and forth between the Trump administration and TikTok, which has been under intense scrutiny. The concerns over the app's connection to China stem from fears that the Chinese government could use its influence over ByteDance to access data from U.S. users, including personal information and location data. While TikTok has denied these allegations and taken steps to store U.S. data on American soil as part of Project Texas, critics argue that the company's ownership structure leaves room for potential influence by the Chinese government, fueling the ongoing debate. One of the key provisions of the law passed by Congress last year is that ByteDance must either sell TikTok's U.S. operations to an American buyer or face a potential ban. This sale was to be completed within 9 months of the law's signing, and as the deadline approaches, there is uncertainty about whether a buyer has emerged that is acceptable to U.S. regulators. As the law's implementation nears, there has been little public information about whether any sale or acquisition is imminent. However, TikTok's leadership has maintained that it is working diligently to resolve the issue and comply with the requirements set out by the U.S. government. This law also provides a critical caveat. It gives the sitting president the authority to grant an extension if it appears that a sale or agreement is in progress. This means that even if the company has not yet finalized a deal, the president has the option to delay enforcement of the law, which would give TikTok more time to negotiate a solution. Trump's comments over the weekend suggest that he may choose to take advantage of this option and extend the deadline by 90 days. The extension would allow more time for discussions and could potentially give TikTok the breathing room it needs to reach a deal or ensure compliance with U.S. regulations. While Trump has not officially announced his decision yet, his position seems to be that a 90-day extension would be a reasonable and prudent course of action. In his interview with NBC News, Trump said that it would be appropriate to grant TikTok the extension, given the high stakes of the situation. He also acknowledged that careful consideration would be necessary, as the situation is complex and involves significant legal, business, and diplomatic concerns. It remains to be seen, however, whether Trump will ultimately follow through with the extension or whether he will opt for a more hardline approach. The Biden administration, which will assume office on Monday, has made it clear that it will leave the implementation of the law to the Trump administration. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre and Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco both indicated that the Biden administration would not take immediate action to enforce the law, as it falls under Trump's purview until he is officially replaced. The Biden administration's position seems to be that it is willing to allow the incoming administration to address the matter, thus further complicating TikTok's attempts to secure clarity about its future. In response to the uncertainty, TikTok has called on the Biden administration to provide definitive assurances about how the law will be enforced. The company issued a public statement requesting that the administration clarify whether it will take action against companies like Apple and Google, which are responsible for hosting the app on their platforms. TikTok expressed concern that without such assurances, it might be forced to go dark, which suggests that the company may voluntarily suspend its operations in the U.S. if it faces significant legal or financial repercussions. However, TikTok did not provide any specifics on whether it would act immediately or when the potential shutdown would take place. It remains unclear whether TikTok will shut down its services voluntarily or whether it will be forced to stop operating due to legal restrictions. The White House, however, dismissed TikTok's statement as a stunt and urged the company to wait until Trump's administration takes office. Jean-Pierre responded by reiterating that the responsibility for enforcing the law would lie with Trump and that TikTok should direct its concerns to the incoming administration. The White House has not indicated any immediate action that will be taken to address TikTok's request for clarification. The uncertainty surrounding TikTok's fate has left many wondering how the platform will navigate this critical juncture. Meanwhile, major tech companies that are involved with TikTok, such as Apple, Google, and Oracle, have yet to make public statements regarding how they plan to handle the law's implementation. These companies, which provide key services to TikTok, have remained silent on the issue. TikTok relies on Apple's App Store and Google Play Store for distribution, and Oracle hosts its data on U.S. servers. Any decisions made by these companies regarding their relationship with TikTok could have significant consequences for the app's availability in the U.S. As of now, however, none of these companies has offered any official comment or guidance. The unfolding saga surrounding TikTok is a critical moment in the ongoing debate over digital privacy, data security, and the role of foreign companies in the U.S. market. As the deadline approaches, it is clear that much remains uncertain. TikTok, its millions of U.S. users, and the global tech industry will be closely watching the next moves made by both the Trump and Biden administrations. The outcome will likely have far-reaching consequences, not only for TikTok but also for the broader landscape of global tech regulation, data privacy laws, and the future of international digital trade. As Trump's inauguration draws closer, all eyes are on how this situation will unfold. The fate of TikTok in the U.S. remains in the balance, and decisions made in the coming days will shape the digital landscape for years to come. Whether TikTok will find a resolution that allows it to continue operating in the U.S. or whether it will be forced to go dark remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is that the implications of this decision extend far beyond TikTok itself and will influence how governments around the world approach tech regulation, cybersecurity, and data privacy in an increasingly interconnected digital age. President-elect Donald Trump has indicated that he is likely to grant TikTok a 90-day extension, providing the popular video-sharing platform additional time to address regulatory concerns as his incoming administration assesses the situation. The remarks came during an interview with NBC News on Saturday, where Trump emphasized the gravity of the issue. Speaking to Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker, Trump said, "The 90-day extension is something that will be most likely done, because it's appropriate. You know it's appropriate. We have to look at it carefully. It's a very big situation." The statement marked a significant development in the ongoing debate over the future of TikTok in the U.S., which has been clouded with concerns over data privacy and national security. The 90-day extension option was made possible by a bipartisan bill passed by Congress last April, which granted TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, 270 days to divest its U.S. operations or face a ban from U.S. app stores. The bill was introduced as a response to national security concerns, with lawmakers fearing that TikTok's access to large amounts of U.S. user data could be exploited by the Chinese government. While TikTok has repeatedly denied these claims, U.S. lawmakers have remained cautious and have pressed for stronger safeguards. The extension, if granted, would allow TikTok to continue operating in the U.S. for an additional 90 days while discussions about the sale or other potential solutions continue. It is expected that President Trump will make an official announcement about the decision on Monday, when he is sworn into office for his second term. The extension would provide the incoming administration with the opportunity to thoroughly assess the situation and make an informed decision about TikTok's future in the U.S. TikTok has been vocal about its concerns regarding the impending ban, which could have significant consequences for the company's millions of U.S. users. In a statement, TikTok warned that it would go dark on Sunday unless President Biden intervenes to stop the enforcement of the law. However, the White House quickly dismissed TikTok's statement, calling it a stunt. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre responded in a statement, saying, "We have seen the most recent statement from TikTok. It is a stunt, and we see no reason for TikTok or other companies to take actions in the next few days before the Trump administration takes office on Monday." The White House's response reflects the position that the incoming Trump administration will have the final say on how to proceed with TikTok's situation, including any potential actions regarding the 90-day extension. The debate over TikTok's future in the U.S. began last year when concerns over data privacy and national security started to mount. Lawmakers expressed fears that the app's Chinese ownership could give the Chinese government access to sensitive data collected from U.S. users, including location information, browsing habits, and personal details. These concerns led to a series of legal challenges and regulatory actions, with the Trump administration threatening to ban the app if ByteDance did not sell its U.S. operations. In response, TikTok has argued that it stores data on U.S. soil and that it has taken steps to address privacy concerns. The company has also emphasized that its parent company, ByteDance, is independent and not under the control of the Chinese government. The law that was passed by Congress last April gave ByteDance a 270-day deadline to divest from TikTok's U.S. operations, which would allow an American company to take over the platform. However, with that deadline fast approaching, it has become clear that no sale has been completed, and TikTok's future remains uncertain. The extension option granted by the bill allows the sitting president to grant a 90-day reprieve if a sale or divestment is in progress. In the case of TikTok, the decision to grant the extension would likely be made after careful consideration of the legal, political, and business implications. For TikTok, the possibility of a 90-day extension offers a glimmer of hope. The company has repeatedly stressed that it is committed to addressing the concerns raised by U.S. lawmakers and has been working on plans to store data on U.S. servers and implement additional privacy safeguards. However, the company has also made it clear that a swift resolution is needed to avoid being forced off U.S. app stores. TikTok's warning that it would go dark on Sunday if the law takes effect underscores the urgency of the situation. The app, which has become hugely popular in the U.S. over the past few years, has millions of active users, many of whom would be directly impacted by a ban. The timeline surrounding the TikTok issue is critical. As Trump is set to be inaugurated on Monday, the decision to grant the extension or enforce the ban will fall to his administration. The incoming administration will have to weigh the national security concerns against the potential economic and political consequences of allowing TikTok to remain operational in the U.S. The 90-day extension could provide the Trump administration with the time needed to negotiate a deal or come to a resolution that addresses the concerns raised by lawmakers and national security experts. However, it remains to be seen whether TikTok can secure a solution that satisfies all parties involved. The situation has highlighted the growing tension between the U.S. and China over issues of technology and data privacy. The U.S. government has increasingly scrutinized Chinese tech companies, including Huawei and ZTE, over concerns about potential espionage and the access these companies may have to sensitive data. The Trump administration's stance on TikTok is part of a broader strategy to limit Chinese influence in the U.S. tech sector, and the potential ban has been seen as a significant step in this direction. While some lawmakers have advocated for a full ban of TikTok, others have argued that a sale to an American company would be a more effective solution. The Trump administration's approach to TikTok is also indicative of the broader challenges faced by foreign tech companies operating in the U.S. market. As digital platforms become increasingly globalized, concerns about data security and the role of governments in overseeing tech companies have become more pronounced. The TikTok case is just one example of how governments around the world are grappling with these issues and attempting to balance the benefits of technological innovation with the need to protect national security and privacy. The outcome of the TikTok situation will have far-reaching consequences, not just for the company, but for the broader tech industry and for US-China relations. If TikTok is forced to sell its US operations or face a ban, it could set a precedent for other foreign-owned apps and platforms operating in the US. The case could also influence future regulatory decisions regarding data privacy, cybersecurity, and the role of foreign companies in the US tech ecosystem. For TikTok's millions of users, the stakes are high as they face the potential loss of one of the most popular and influential social media platforms. As the situation develops, all eyes will be on the Trump administration to see how it handles the TikTok issue. The 90-day extension is an important step, but it forced to shut down will be a key moment in the ongoing debate over the regulation of foreign-owned tech companies.